All right, so this is Robert Lauer from Hookshot Hobo, and I'm joined by
Colin Wolf from Hookshot Hobo.
Hookshot Hobo is the game we just made. This is going to be a podcast talking about the design of it, how we went about everything. Um, our other podcast is Game of the Month Club, and this is that super secret project we've totally been working on the whole time.
For all 12 people following Game of the Month Club.
Uh, I was the lead artist, or you're the lead artist.
Oh,
Sorry,
taking my credit.
I was lead designer, programmer, and sound technician, and Colin was the lead artist of the project. Um, so the game is Hookshot Hobo. You are a hobo in a shopping cart on the highway, grappling from car to car. Go! And that's the entire premise of the game.
Yes, simple, but it's fun.
It turned out to be not as simple a program as I would have liked. But first, let's talk. I want to mention where the entire idea of the game came from.
It's a good place to start.
Yeah, so I was just talking to my girlfriend one night, and I don't know how we got there, but my dad at one point stole a shopping cart, and we used to have it in the backyard. And we were just talking about like driving it on the highway, and I was like, well, how would I pick up momentum? And she was like, what if you had a grappling hook? And then I was just like, that'd make a great game. And then like it played back in my head, like I was just saying it as a joke. And I was like,
wait a second.
Wait, that'd be a great game. So I like grabbed a notebook and wrote it down, and then came to school and talked to you the next day and said, hey, you want to work on this project with me?
And I was like, yeah, sure, I guess.
And then Hookshot Hobo was born. And the original idea of it was going to be top down.
Yeah.
And once I made the prototype of that, because I made a prototype as soon as summer came around, like once we were out of school in like the second week, trying to get the hook shot to work, because that took a lot of time. But once I did, and we had the top down, man, was the game ugly.
Oh yeah, it didn't look very good at all.
Even with the prototype stuff, when it was just squares and a crappy road that didn't even move.
It was hard to draw a car that was like a top-down card that looked good.
Yeah, and well, the problem was you can make it look like a top-down card, but you couldn't have it have any character.
Yeah, it was just
a car has a shape from the side that's specific, or 3/4 and things like that. But top-down, every car is a rectangle.
Yes.
Unless it's like a drag racing car, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So it was really boring to look at, and so I started fooling around with the idea. Let's try landscape. How would I do this, like programming wise and everything? And then we were like, no, what? I'll figure it out, because this game's gonna be crap unless we do landscape view.
Mm-hmm.
My other big worry is we're going to be porting this game over to the iPad. That we've designed everything to be like that.
Yeah.
And one of my big worries was, how you're holding the iPad. The entire game is touching all over the screen, tapping, but you're going to want to hold it with both hands and use your thumbs. And I was wondering, like, you're not going to be able to reach the center of the screen, but in the end, I'm just like, people hold it with one hand, will sit on their lap and use their index finger.
Yeah.
After that, we started talking about the aesthetics. You were on vacation and sketching and everything, and I was like, it's a hobo, but I don't want it to look greasy like a hobo.
Yeah, not a real hobo. It's got to be like
it's got to be silly.
Appealing, yeah.
The whole game is silly, and so I was thinking, I don't remember where I got the idea, but I was just like, what if it was a Muppet? Because it was because you never see the hobo's feet. He's always in the shopping cart. So I was like, what if he's a puppet? And then I also thought, like, he gets hit and his arms go,
a little puppet flail.
And then I also loved the idea of doing the voices for him.
Just simple.
It's not easy being a hobo. So yeah, we did, you went through a whole bunch of sketches with that, and the hobo went through a lot of different changes. At one point, he looked like a mob boss.
Yeah, he looked like a mob boss. I know there was like a pirate-looking one.
Yeah,
because
the pirate-looking one was like cool. It just looked like a pirate.
Make it a skin or something. But yeah, he originally was gonna have like the lumberjack hat, or no?
No, hunter's hat.
Hunter's hat,
like a Holden Caulfield Catcher in the Rye kind of hat.
Yeah. So that was The goggles, I think, were pretty much. I kept the goggles through the whole thing.
I don't remember if you did.
Actually,
I think
no.
you added that later.
Yeah, first he had eyes, and then like the eyes sort of looked weird. I think so.
And
The
then
goggles just sort
yeah,
of.
and the goggles. I think the goggles really changed everything. You had trouble with them at first, and then I was like, the best reference I can think of for a character like that was number two
From Kids Next Door.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, number
Number
two.
two.
Number two from
Kids Next Door.
and yeah, I did a couple sketches, and then like you finalized everything, and the hat wasn't working. It made him look like a pirate because it was too blocky. It made his hair square, his head square. So you went with the simple like
Just the regular beanie. It's not
the
beanie, is it?
ski cap,
Ski cap.
like the
or-
winter cap kind of
Yeah.
thing. And then colors came around. And I was like, let's make them green because there are no green cars.
Mhm.
Green is not a color that's going to be coming around. And then he'll have some sort of relation to good. The signs are green, things like that. And then you had the skin originally like a purple, I believe.
Yeah, I was just testing some stuff, like trying it out. Purple, and I think his clothes were like. His clothes
I think
were
his-
green. I think.
Yeah, you had his clothes green still.
Hair was blue.
Yeah, and the skin color just wasn't like super appealing. And then
The nose was orange though.
yes,
Yeah.
and then I just changed it to orange because I love the green orange color combo. And
Yeah.
then by coincidence, it turned out to be the same orange and green that were in the signs.
Yeah.
So
Well, what are the odds?
that yeah, it wasn't actually a purposeful design decision. It
Mhm.
worked out okay, but it meant it made certain scenes hard because it was like, oh crap, I can't
Can't-
ever have him be in front of the sign.
Just blend in. Yeah.
So
That's why
like
the-
yeah, if you look
Off
on
to the
the
side.
score screen, it had to be separate, which it looks better anyway. But
Yeah.
before I had the score screen, I did all the HUDs, except for the thumbs up picture of the hobo.
I did that one.
Yeah, I kept messing it up because he had like bug eyes.
His head was a little like flat and small,
Yeah,
which is weird. But
and I didn't. I did do the title screen hobo and the biker and everything based off of all of Colin's art.
yeah,
Colin did most of the logo too and everything. But I just couldn't get him to look right in that instance. I was like, I don't have the time to do this.
yeah.
And I know you could just do it easily. Why aren't I letting you do
Yeah,
it?
yeah. I mean, I created.
Yeah,
Created
it's like,
him, I
this
mean.
is your baby.
I should know what my baby looks like.
So yeah, I let you do it, and you got it like done in like a half hour. Whereas like that sketch took me a half hour. It's like, what am I doing?
I still used your like premise
My
for it.
under sketch.
yeah, your under sketch.
It was just I couldn't get the. I think a lot of it was the eyes were messing me up.
yeah. His eyes were flat. It was the angle that sort of is kind of difficult.
But in the end, it looked great. You did all of the assets, all of the cars, and
Yep.
everything.
All the little animations for him and
That
stuff.
was probably the first thing we ended up talking about for design was just what are our cars,
Yes.
because that's the entire game.
Yeah. You're not going to be looking at the hobo as much as you are the enemies of the cars there.
What
So,
else was difficult was all the design and programming, like because in most endless runner games, and this is essentially an endless runner game.
Oh yeah.
Though unfortunately, it doesn't have as much of a feel of a runner, but it is the same thing because in an endless runner game, the character doesn't move, the environment around them moves, and I had trouble figuring out because like when you hook onto a car, you want to feel like you're traveling with it, but I also realized if that's the case, you could just, like what's going to stop you from just hanging onto one car
Keeping
the
the
entire
entire
time? It just had to be weird stuff. Oh, the screen would kind of scroll a little bit. And there are illusions that I could do with that. When the ambulance comes on screen, all the cars go backwards because the cars are stopping and slowing down.
Yeah.
And I was going to do with the sports car. If you clicked on that, it would make all the cars go backwards, and then the sports car would just freeze on the screen for a little bit, and then it would give you the illusion that you're traveling really fast with it and leaving all the other cars in the dust.
Like a mile boost and everything.
Yeah.
That didn't happen though.
Didn't happen. Didn't have time to program it.
There's quite a few things that we had hoped to add that didn't make it into this version.
Yeah. One of the first cars we talked about was actually the DeLorean.
Yeah, the elusive DeLorean, the mysterious,
Yeah.
hard to get car.
It was all, and like it was a lot of. We really wanted to do it not just because of hey Back to the Future, but because of the mechanic attached to it.
Yeah, we were planning on having it appear, then speed up and have a trail of fire. Tire tracks, fire, and then have it disappear. But the fire would be a hazard.
Yeah.
So.
But doing that meant new death animation,
Mm-hmm.
fire animation, disappear animation.
Oh, and the DeLorean itself.
The DeLorean itself. Making the fire disappear, programming it to, like move across the screen and not look weird.
Plus, this would be a rare occurrence.
Yeah.
So this would be a lot for
it was
something that's not seen very often.
Yeah, it was towards the end. Other cars that didn't make it. We had this idea at the very end was the moped.
Yeah. That was your idea, like you were telling me.
Yeah, I walked.
Days ago.
I walked to get a sandwich, and someone was driving a moped, or maybe it was a Vespa, and I just thought, we have motorcyclists, but not. So the motorcyclists in the game, they're on the title screen.
Yeah.
And the whole shtick with them is they're out to get the hobo. They're hostile biker gang guys. And my original sketch, because I didn't know, all we knew is that we wanted him to attack the hobo. And my original sketch for you was like shooting a gun. And I was glad I didn't actually tell you, don't make him shoot a gun. That's just my like demo thing. I'm glad you took the lead on that.
I actually didn't see the gun.
Well,
I didn't know there was a gun.
I think he just had his arm out, maybe.
Okay.
And then in the prototype, bullets flew out.
Yeah.
Like little red dots, and I was like, this is weird and really out of place.
Yeah.
And then I had to go, and I just left you in the studio.
And I went to town.
And I was like nervous coming back. I was like, oh crap, I didn't. You know what? He'll get it. And then came back, and I was like, this is beautiful.
Yeah, like your original design had it was orange. Just like the hobo. He actually looked just like a buff hobo with the, what was it, like a wife beater on or something like that?
Kind of, yeah, like a black wife beater.
Yeah.
It was like a torn leather jacket. It was really quick, just here's how big it needs to be, and here are the different animations.
Yeah, and so I was thinking because I knew that there wouldn't be too many not hobos, but just people out there, because all of the cars are just cars without faces. I wanted to make them a little different, so the Gonzo nose was the first thing. I'm like, how can I distinguish him? And the color as well, the green, make him look sickly and everything. So. And
it was interesting because he was green was friendly for hobo, but when you put it on skin, it turns into Shrek, and it's like. Ew.
Or Wicked Witch of the West sort of thing.
Exactly, and that really worked.
Mm-hmm.
And he just, I love the biker. And then, but the big thing that you did that I loved was that he was throwing bricks.
Yes. So.
Super cartoony. Who throws bricks on the highway?
Who has that many bricks?
Yeah. On a motorcycle.
Yeah. I don't see any pockets on him. He's got tiny legs.
But yeah, so that was a super cool character. All the cars in the game, the list of all the cars is normal cars, cars that have come from the front of the screen backwards and then move back, they're slowing down and then they speed up. Junkers.
Mm-hmm.
There are cars that come from the back and they seem like a normal car and then they break down and then they move backwards across the screen. And then there was the Amberlance.
The Amberlance? Ambulance? Amberlance.
Amberlance was, it made everything go backwards when it appeared on screen. There was just the truck that was going to drop stuff. We were originally planning to have it drop more stuff, but didn't get around to it.
There was going to be a chance for a power-up or something.
Yeah, and then we thought the hard part was, what power-up do we have?
Yeah, because there's he's a simple character. There's not a whole lot of mechanics going into it.
So
what do we change?
One power up we were thinking is either a firework that you strap onto your back and gain distance, or a ramp that the truck drops some furniture and it turns into a ramp and then the hobo hits it. But then that was a whole crazy animation we would have had to do for the background and all that. So we just bypassed it for now.
And we had at one point we had the idea that the ramp would lead to a bonus zone.
Oh God!
Or we swing from helicopters or something.
I had forgotten about that. Yeah, how ambitious our project was.
Man.
Was we were gonna have the whole distance meter was a completely different thing at one point, and the game for the longest amount of time had lives.
Yeah.
It was like Robot Rainbow Unicorn Attack, where you would run 3 times and it would take your 3 scores and add them into one. And the original reason we did that wasn't to be like Robot Rainbow Unicorn Attack, is because we were going to have a distance like meter, and it wasn't going to be numbers of miles. It was going to be a little picture of the hobo traveling across like a line.
Mm-hmm.
And when we reached the end of the line, there was either going to be like a little bonus.
Yeah.
We actually had a story originally.
Oh, with Fat Cat?
Yeah, the story it was basically Hobo pisses off Fat Cat by like dirtying his limo, and Fat Cat puts a hit out on the Hobo.
That would explain like the biker gangs, you know.
Yeah, and so we were gonna have like boss battles.
Yeah. We had so many good ideas for boss battles.
We were gonna do something like, you know, swing from the helicopter, like like a helicopter had a chance appearing on screen, or you ramp up and then like you would actually like hang from the helicopters.
We also had the idea for costumes as well for your hobo.
Yeah, so that happened once you made the pirate.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. And then like his little shopping cart could be like a little pirate ship.
Yeah, and the like, way ambitious, over ambitious on this.
But you know, it was fun to design those, especially the costumes. Like some of the things, like what if he was like in a giant rubber ducky or silly stuff like that. And then where else did we had some other ideas? We had boss battles was something that we were thinking of doing. Yep. Oh, different levels.
Oh yeah.
We wanted to do winter
locations.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because it would just be after you progressed after a while, you'd reach a boss, and then you beat the boss, and it would continue to like the next place, and there'd be like a music change and stuff like that. And
the test music in the game for the longest time was actually music from Diddy Kong Racing.
Yeah,
because it matched just so perfectly. Especially TT's theme. And then we eventually bought some music. Props to I cannot pronounce his name. It's in the game. Kulukwiolos, something I can't remember. But we went through. I listened to a lot of his music.
It was good music.
Yeah, and it was just good for this game.
Yeah,
we had one that was
the theme.
Happy Dog.
Oh, that was the music for a while that we had. We had like the demo.
Yeah,
the sample for it.
I think it was a little quick. I think it was a little quick.
Yeah,
and slowing it down, like in Audition or something, would have not worked. And we also wanted some title menu music and stuff like that.
And we didn't think that we had that until...
Yeah, and I went through more of his music, and he had some things that had, like, the light version and the normal version. So we bought his music and got the license and everything, and yeah. So thank you, man. That music's awesome. I'm glad you had it out there.
Shout out to you.
Guy, whose name is hard to pronounce, but look up his website.
It's in the...
it's in the game. It's in the game. As well as a link to our game. But we made this in about 3 months.
I'd say 3 months. I mean, you had the idea before that.
You jumped in with the heavy asset art about around mid-June.
Yes.
I had a really early prototype in, early June?
Yeah.
Late May?
It took me a while to
settle down and get everything. Well, you had computer trouble.
I had computer trouble, and there's another project
I mean, we have other projects going on. I did some 3D modeling, and then I had a whole other game I was working on besides this.
Yeah,
and that game is Airlock. It was originally called Adrift, I've been working on that game for a year. So it's pretty much I just need to get the art done now. But it was called Adrift, which is like such a great name for it. And someone else realized it too, because there's a commercial game, big game coming out for the Oculus Rift called Adrift, where you're floating through space. And while I don't know if there's a trademark or if I could really get in trouble for naming my game the same thing, it's more of I don't want people to look at my game and say, oh, it's just a cheap rip-off of that game. It's like, I don't want it to feel that way. And so going with the second name that was up for debate is Airlock. But hopefully that game will be out soon. There's some video of some of the early prototype stuff on my website.
Yeah, you still have some stuff to figure out for that, don't you?
Mostly all the art.
Okay.
That's pretty much it. The programming is in there, level design's done, all the randomly generated stuff is done. It's just I need the art.
Okay.
And I don't want to. And I decided to dedicate the last like month and a half to Hookshot Hobo because I believe it's Miyamoto who has said it's better. A rushed game is forever bad, while delayed game is just like minorly annoying, or like it's bad for a while. But like I don't want to rush both of these games and have them both be like forever bad.
Yeah.
So I'll release a airlock later, and that's just how it'll be. But other than that, this game, the thing that took this game the longest was the programming depth.
Yeah, it took you a while to get that figured out.
I figured out one way, and I hadn't put in the code for drawing the line from the hook to the plunger. And then I found out those are always drawn on top.
Yeah. And
it made it really difficult to create a sense of depth if the line was always on top. So all the sprites, and I'm an amateur programmer. I understand basic programming logic.
I understand like almost none of it. So
I made this game in stencil, which proved challenging, but it was fun to work around and everything like that. But so all the sprites are really drawn, and then there are areas in the game that when the hobo hits it, it actually just changes what order everything is drawn in. So that's how I create the depth. Before, it was actually changing what layer the hobo was on, and all the cars stayed normal, because I've done that for other projects. I did that for Unhollowed, which hopefully I'll have that game out soon as well on the internet. That was a Pac-Man inspired game.
Yeah, we had to make that for class.
Yeah. And so now I was drawing everything, which just led to issues everywhere of getting things to work right. But I'm so glad that we did landscape.
Oh, definitely. I can't even imagine it any other way now that we're all done with it and stuff.
What are some of the other things? I mean, even art-wise, that were weird to figure out. I mean, colors were always weird to figure out.
Definitely. That's a huge thing, is color, because you don't want things to collide and not work. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was the thing. We wanted different colors of cars, and then we ended up with the 3 primary colors, and it feels childish and everything. And then the whole idea came around to, what if you could chain the colors together?
Yeah, yeah. And that would it's instead of doing the pickups and stuff like that, trying to get coins or anything like that, it's like,
oh man, what was
like that.
One of the biggest issues I had the program was getting it to recognize that the hook had attached, or getting it to go places. It's hard to even recall. I went through so many changes with how that worked. But in the end, the way I actually have it working is it doesn't happen when you click on the cars. It actually happens first. It checks if the mouse icon is colliding with the cars. Okay. And then says if you clicked. And if you clicked and it's colliding with that car, do the thing.
Okay, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and then, that's the whole before it was just a mouse, and I was always planning to have a icon because the mouse looks ugly compared to this game.
Oh yeah, I like what you made the icon.
Yeah, I made the plunger icon where you click on things, and
did a beautiful job with it, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. There was originally 2 icons. There was a plunger for the menus, and then there was going to be like a little explodey thing for in game.
Yeah,
and I spent a long time just drawing things. I was like, this explodey looks like crap no matter what I do. And I was like, but at one point there was a glitch in the game where I had the plunger from the the icon from the menus and the explodey. Both of those mouse icons were on screen at the same time.
Oh, so that's how you determined.
Yeah, I was like,
do it happen.
That kind of looks cool. But it's a little distracting. But it's like, you know what? I'll give it a shot. Like it was like, you know what? I got nothing to lose, so I gave it a shot, and then tried the star thing. So when you click on car colors, like if you click on a yellow car, like yellow stars shoot out of the plunger.
Okay.
And
I didn't know how that you Didn't know how you got that.
Yeah, and
Figured that out.
it worked.
Yeah,
And I
it
was
really
finally
does.
glad to go through 7 hours of trying to get a mouse icon to look okay. That's um, and then yeah, talk about some of the art that like all of the art that you went through because I think just overall because this was a really big learning experience for both of us.
Oh, definitely.
You don't learn how to make games by looking at games or playing games. You don't learn how to be a painter by painting. You learn how to make games by making games.
You don't learn how to be a painter by painting.
Did I say that? I meant
Yes.
by looking at paintings. You learn how to be a painter by painting.
Exactly.
You gotta balance things. But yeah, because I think all of your art evolved dramatically over this project.
If you couldn't tell, the first thing that was done was the cars, the regular cars. I mean, they, like you've said before, they look pretty flat, but cartoony and everything. The style for the car actually came from a project that I did for class.
Yes, I was using that picture as a prototype image.
Yeah,
it was
a cop car.
It was a cop car you did for a concept development course.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like how round this is. Let's go for something like this. And I knew you could.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, it worked its way in.
Yeah. So like, it's inspired off of cars from the 50s and stuff like that. Mainly, that's where my inspiration for the vehicles really comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some of them, I should say, especially the sports car.
No, definitely.
If you can tell, But yeah, like the main cars, pretty basic. Colors a little reversed, darker on the tops and stuff, as you pointed out. Shadows wouldn't work that way. There isn't really much shading on it, if any. But as you go on, especially the semi truck being the last thing.
It was because the semi was so big that we looked at it and it just kept looking weird. And it's because it was so flat. You went to the bathroom and I just
you scribbled on it.
Yeah, I was just like, huh. And I scribbled some highlights after looking at a semi truck and I was like, give this a shot.
And then all I did was I edited the scribbles and then I renamed the layer.
Named it the layer was Details Bobby, and then you renamed the truck to
Details
truck
Not Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Not Bobby.
Yeah. So that's the most detailed one out of them all.
I think the motorcyclist is the most detailed.
Okay, yeah.
Because he has the most character and animation to him.
I think I spent more time on the motorcyclist than any other one.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it sort of breaks the pattern with all the other vehicles, because all the other vehicles are big, rectangular, lifeless. But you have to, create a character with the motorcycle. It's like why I originally the motorcycle, the tailpipe didn't move at all.
Yeah.
So just make it a little more cartoony. I sort of think of Dr. Seuss a bit when the whole it extends.
Yeah.
More like a.
I thought you were going with more of a Tex Avery kind of thing, Looney Tunes.
Okay. Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It's just all those cartoony things,
Even Steamboat Willie has got stuff going on, and
the smokestack. I'm talking about Steamboat Willie there with the smokestack, but yeah, the truck and everything. Oh yeah, because the truck has the smokestack that spits stuff out. Yeah. I forgot about that completely. That's the last thing I worked on. How could I forget about that?
Yeah, it happened yesterday.
Hey, now
you're an all-star.
Get your game on.
Go play.
Yeah, the regular truck that opens up in the back. I wanted to make it a bit different than the car because the car is more rounded and everything. So I tried to create it, make it more squarish. The cabin of the truck is a bit taller than the compared to the rest of it. Bobby was the one who suggested. I don't know if you look closely, the animation for it. The back bobs up and down at a different pace than the front.
Yeah.
Making it a little more rickety, looking.
But yeah, I think all of those turned out great.
Mm-hmm.
I love just the normal truck for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be my favorite.
Really?
Either it's a tie between the semi truck and the normal truck. Just something about the truck's animation and the really tall, skinny Kind of reminds me of Ferb for some reason.
It does. Oh, it's the boxy shape.
Yeah, and like how skinny it is on top, and it's just like that's not how a truck is, but like it works and it looks good.
Yeah.
I don't know, I just love that one a lot.
It's all about creating character.
Yeah, through the shape language and everything like that. What else? I had something to mention about depth system. One more look at. Oh yeah, just clicking on things. Oh yeah, so it took me a long time to get the hook to work because I looked all over the place, and making a hook shot, like a grappling hook function, is actually difficult. And so I looked all over the place, and I ended up using a combination of different techniques. Like I would make the hobo just follows wherever the position of like the plunger is. Now there are different ways to get the hook to go places, but in most games, what it would do is it doesn't move. But our hook is constantly moving
all the time.
But it's not actually attached to anything. What it's actually doing is it's just copying whatever the speed of the car is. And that's part of the reason why there's only 4 cars on screen usually. And the double car is actually still one car. It's just a larger sprite with 2 different collision areas. But what it's doing is it's checking to see which car it's colliding with, because each car has a variable that says car number. Are you car number 1, car number 2, car number 3, or car number 4? And then it will collide with it. It says, if car number equals car number 3, if it equals 3, change the speed to car 3, whatever the car 3 speed is, and it's constantly colliding with it. So if the speed changes, the hook will also change speed, and it will constantly follow it. It's not actually sticking to it anyway. It's just giving the illusion that it is.
And there's a lot that goes into this, kids.
Yeah, and
like
and this isn't even intense, but the thing is, like, I thought this was going to be a lot simpler, but I'm really glad that we did this project because I learned a lot from it.
Very eye-opening.
Yeah. And now, I mean, I've learned how to create depth systems, like a hook shot, a hobo,
cars.
But yeah, that was probably what took up most of the time programming wise, was figuring out the hook and the depth system, because sometimes the hook wouldn't match speeds correctly, or I would fix what is it? There's a old thing for programming. 99 bugs in the code. Take one down, patch it around. 187 bugs in the code.
Solve one problem, creates 100 more.
Yeah, and that would. I don't know how much time I put into playtesting this.
Oh, much more than I did.
And you know what's really sad? We still haven't gotten all the achievements.
Yeah, we're still working on that. Well, it's
you
who has to get them.
I think so. We have 2 more achievements to get, and the thing is, I've gotten them, but not on the website, so it doesn't say I got them. And so it's like, all this programming is nothing compared to getting the achievement for getting over 100,000 points.
That's the limiting factor. You can do the rest of it.
See,
just need to get
I designed the game. I'm not good at it. I mean, I don't think Miyamoto's great at playing like Skyward Sword.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
I bet take Sakurai to play Smash Brothers, and I don't think he'd do too great at a tournament, especially because he's opposed
their lives to it.
Especially because he's opposed to playing it competitively.
Yeah, that's very true.
Hookshot Hobo competition, 2015.
See who can last the longest.
And yeah, I loved telling people about this game, because I really would just attack them. It's just like, work on a game, Hookshot Hobo, and they're like, what's it like? You're a hobo in a shopping cart in the highway with a grappling hook. Go!
I would talk to this about I talk about this with my coworkers and stuff all the time, and mention it and like to friends and family and stuff. Be on the lookout.
Yeah,
I'll tell you.
Be on the lookout for the hobo.
Yeah, he's coming for you.
Well, working on this game, every time I see a shopping cart, I would think of the hobo. Every time I went like driving, I would think of new cars. What were some of the last cars we got in? Like, we had the idea for the sports car, but we didn't know exactly if. Oh, that's an achievement we really wanted to do.
That's right. Yeah, the sports car.
we didn't sports car. One of the reasons we didn't do it is because it's too small
Yeah, you can hardly tell,
on
but
the web version. On the iPad version of the tablet, it'll
it'll be
probably
easier
be
to
easier to
see.
see. But the sports car, it's like a jerk guy on a cell phone. And there was going to be achievement: yank the cell phone out of his hands and don't text and drive.
And the cell phone would have gone flying, and he would have had like an angry fit animation.
Yeah, and then he would have exploded.
Wait, whoa!
No.
News to me. Jeez. You imagine like a comical like somersault flip, with the car.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Kennedys. And the car just like flips over for no reason.
Throwing in the reference there.
Yes, reference to Clone High. Good show.
Good show.
Yeah, there are cars we want to do. We wanted to do monster truck.
Yep.
A biker gang, where we were gonna have like a lead biker.
Yeah, those were like the bosses, though, weren't
Yeah,
they?
some of the bosses that we've thought about.
Cement truck would have been interesting.
Oh my
didn't even
God,
think
cement
of that.
truck. Yeah, we're designing right now.
Yeah.
Cement truck kind of would have been a cool addition. I just imagine it like dropping cement and makes like a big cube.
Or if you hook onto it, because they spin around.
Oh yeah,
it would actually like move you side to side
side.
into the other lanes or something.
Neat.
Ooh, gotta remember that one.
I mean, that might even be a good kind of boss. Like you hook onto it and it like you're stuck in it now, and it keeps swinging you around, but you have to still dodge all the other cars.
Yeah.
Something like that. We actually had a mini game. I was just messing around with pivots, and I had a thing where the hobo was attached to like a tow truck.
Oh, that's right.
And
yeah.
like you could only move left or right, but and we for the iPad you could have used the accelerometer, I believe it is, or the whatever.
Everyone loves doing that.
Oh yeah, God yeah. But yeah, you would have had the Dodge cars. But I was just like, okay, now we're throwing in weird play styles. We're not Sonic. We're not gonna jump We're not gonna jump what our game is over and over again.
We know what we want to be.
Yeah.
And we're gonna keep it that way.
Every game has a theme, and you should work towards that theme. You shouldn't, like 1 minute you're an adventure game, then you're shooting, then you're skateboarding. And it's just like, stop! You're confusing me.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
Gotta go fast.
I might actually be getting a hedgehog soon, and I'm a little excited. I kind of want a little hedgehog with his little hedgehog feet.
Get a fox too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Foxes eat hedgehogs.
Yeah, I mean, keep it in a separate tank.
And Tank was another car we were gonna do. Segway.
That's right. Yeah.
Was also another car we were gonna.
Segway. Yeah, the Segway was what you came up with recently.
No, the moped.
Oh, moped. I'm sorry.
I'm Segway one.
That
Segway on the highway.
You just
actually, there's a 0.05 chance that Stephen Hawking will appear.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
And,
like rocket boosters.
And he will make black holes appear.
Oh gosh! It like sucks in all the cars.
Yeah, this is some of the fun discussion that we. Oh man, so many stuff. So much stuff.
Brainstorming was great.
Some of the most fun I have is just in the design, just like talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then implementation, I mean, I love that too, but I was programmer for the, I did a lot of the art. I did do a lot of art, so I felt good.
You did quite a bit.
I've never done sound effects before. Not to this extent. I've done some sound effects and amateur voice acting by myself, but I've never done anything this extensive for this. But, which was really challenging. And right now I'm actually learning music composition and how to play the piano. So I have this piano, and for, I think, 3 days, the final 3 days of the work. Next time we do a project, I've now learned, save a lot more time for sound effects.
Yes.
Sound effects are half the story. If the game just has visuals, it's not the same.
It's completely silent.
So we had a huge list, and I think there are sound effects we want to put in. The car horns came about by accident, because I knew we were going to have horns. But I was like, oh, it's going to be so weird if they just play randomly when a car shows up. And I was like, wow, clicking on stuff is boring with just the pop noise. And then I made all the different car noises.
Yeah.
And I got most of the sound from freesound.com, and all of it. I used only the public domain stuff.
Yeah, so no issues with
that. I don't want to do attributing right now. No offense to you guys. It's just didn't want to deal with naming everybody and licensing and stuff. So I just went with public domain stuff. So thank you to everybody who had sound effects that I used, because you guys were lifesavers for the stuff I didn't have. Like car crash noises are really hard to make.
I imagine. I mean, You kind of have to know what you're doing with that.
I think I mixed like 4 sound effects that I recorded myself, and then a couple from online to create it. The hobo and the biker are me. Um,
Yes.
Different sound effects.
Oh.
I recorded a lot of sound effects for the hobo death, but one of the first ones I did just it just sounded right.
Mm-hmm.
Getting hit and the like I kept trying to go with a goofy thing like the and like that kind of thing. But the biker was really tough because I didn't want him to sound like the hobo. I wanted him to sound like Gonzo, as well, a tougher Gonzo. Because he had the
Gonzo.
Yeah, just. But I also wanted, because I looked at the animation, his animation, and his mouth is going like it's going up and down,
slightly up and down.
So yeah. I wanted the flying off. But then like the motorcycle, I had the timing set off. I was really upset that my piano and some of my software didn't have a jaw harp for making the tire bounce. So I found a public domain sound of the tire, or the jaw harp going the bang bang, and made that.
I think it worked very well for that.
I'm just what I want my piano to have a jaw harp.
Come on, piano.
Like it has over 700 something sounds, but where's my jaw harp?
Jaw harp ain't one.
That's if I probably would have asked one of my neighbors back home, because he's a blues musician, but he has a whole bunch of crazy instruments and he fixes Stratocasters and stuff like that. And it's just nice. Like he would have had a jaw harp. He loves playing the weird instruments.
Does he have the theremin?
No, that's another one of my friends has the theremin.
I want to play one of those.
Like one of my best friends plays like the accordion, spoons, guitar, banjo.
Spoons.
Yeah, he's a damn good spoons player.
I love spoons. It's like the easiest. It's not even an instrument. That's the thing. Like you can play it as an instrument, but it's not an instrument. Got some stomp stuff going on here.
Oh my god, stomp. Well, I mean, making the sound effects, that's how a lot of that stuff goes.
Yeah.
The like sound effects company, the people who did like stuff for like Dead Space and things like that, they'll just like they have a warehouse where they just go grab some metal or a light bulb and smash it and then like record it. And there's the scream of one of the bad guys and stuff like that.
Light bulb smash is the scream.
Well, I mean, it's just mixing those sounds and it's really interesting, that stuff. And after doing this,
at their disposal. I'm
learning more and more about sound effects stuff and music, because I'm okay at programming. My favorite part is the design. I love the design and development, and then I love doing art, and then I love doing programming and everything. But now I'm learning the sound effects, which is cool. The sound effect for getting a chain of colors probably took me the longest.
Oh, the progressive.
Yeah, because
keynotes.
I was doing chords at first, just simple chords, 3 notes, and it just wasn't enough. And I kept trying to match it to the music because we didn't actually work with the guy who made the music.
Mm-hmm.
We just bought it. Never even known it was like I had to try and match it up to the music. I had to match it up to the feel of everything else. And at first, I was like, okay, I hear a honky tonk piano, I hear ukulele, I hear some kazoos, stuff like that. So I'm going through all my instruments. I tried the honky tonk piano. I'm like, no, it doesn't match up. I had maybe 8 or 9 different versions of all the chords. Like there are 11 chords that play, progressing. And eventually, what I did, I was talking to Izzy, my partner, and when she was in Europe recently, she got me a cowbell from Switzerland. And I look at it and I jingle jangled it, and I was like, oh, what if it was a bell that just increased in pitch? And it sounded good, but it was still lonely. So I took all the other sound effects, went through those. So like the final sound effect, I think, is the combination of the ukulele fading out, the honky tonk piano when you first connect and I smack a chord, and then the bells just ding-a-ling-ling, 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 ding. And then once I got too high with the bell, I started going to the honky tonk piano and then upping that pitch on that. So the final 3 chords, the bell isn't actually getting a higher pitch, the honky tonk piano is.
Okay. I don't know if I've actually made it to those last ones. I haven't gotten the achievement for that.
I thought you did. I thought you got the color streak master.
I only got the novice.
Novice.
Novice. Potato.
No vice.
No. Novice.
Um,
Yeah, I haven't gotten master yet.
it was also really hard to record because right now we don't have access to a good sound studio,
Yeah.
which is why our previous our previous podcasts have been over Skype and
Well, we've been in different
state,
cities.
yes,
Well,
cities and
same state.
states. Yeah, some people.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Um, but so when I was recording, I am converting one of my closets. It's a walk-in closet, and I'm getting rid of a TV. It's too big. It's a giant CRT, and I'm buying some soundproof foam, and I'm just gonna try and equip the entire room to be a recording booth. For now, I was using like a closet, but the problem was, yes, I got rid of a lot of the background noise, but I kept clipping the mic because I don't have the mic with me that I should be using.
Mm-hmm.
So the sound would reflect back, and I would clip the mic, and it would just ruin the sound effects for a lot of them. So that took some time to finally get right.
Figure that out.
My throat also got sore of doing the screams for hours. I had like maybe 300 screams almost.
300? Holy
for
crap.
The biker and the hobo combined.
That's a lot of sorting.
Yeah. Well, I knew which ones I kind of liked.
Yeah.
When I did it, I kind of knew where they were. So I like put on headphones and like skim through because I could also tell by the waveform, like that one clipped, just and got rid of those ones all together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, after that, we, depending on the success and if people like the mechanic, maybe the game might not do great. But if people genuinely enjoy the mechanic of the game, we kind of want to do a sequel.
Yeah, like one with actual levels, like level design in it, and different themes.
All the stuff we wanted to do before,
with bosses
and now we have the engine made.
Yeah.
Now it'd just be little tweaks for me to do. Like we wanted to do boss battles. You came up with the brilliant idea of a certain place for the hookshot to go to. The
which one?
Thanksgiving Day parade.
Oh yeah, the parade. Yeah.
Oh my god! I just imagine the art for that. Everything's orange, and I just imagine the boss for that being like a parade float.
Yeah, like I don't know, giant turkey or something, or what?
Yeah, or like a parade float of Fat Cat with like a giant.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Or like you have the balloons, people walking with balloons.
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. And like the way you get rid of them is you have to launch the people holding the balloons, stuff like that. And like everybody, like Fat Cat put a hit out on Hobo, and that's why everyone's out to get him. We were talking about like a giant snowplow.
Yeah.
And boss battles would work in the way that, okay, it seems weird, but the thing is, the boss would just be on the right side of the screen, and he wouldn't actually be moving. The background would be moving, but he would be still, and he would just do different things, and you would hook on to different spots to them. And that's why we have to pick big cars, things that are huge that you can hook all over the place and change lanes. Like the snowplow, we were thinking like you have to stay in the lane that it's actually plowing. If you get knocked into one of the other lanes, the snow like knocks you off and you die.
Yeah.
What is it? Fat Cat.
The limo.
Yeah, we were gonna have a giant limo, and it was gonna like wrap around the screen ridiculously.
Comically stretched, yeah.
The monster truck was gonna be in 3 sections, and you could actually go underneath it.
Yeah, the tires took up a lane each.
Motorcycle gang would actually like change lanes. They would go up and down, and you would have to avoid them and launch them all and stuff like that. That's stuff we want to do and change the environment. We more likely end up keeping like the same kind of road, but changing the background and just the way the cars look, like a couple of them. That way we can just kind of change the feel and make things different. But the boss battles is where we would really want to sell it.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'd bring back the lives system, and like the distance meter isn't just about multiplying. It's about,
finishing
actually
the level.
Getting there.
Yeah.
The distance multiplier for the longest time, we almost got rid of it at the end because nothing affected the distance. Before, when you clicked the railing, it would just subtract points, which was like, oh, darn, it takes, a second to get 50 points back.
But the multiplier is where all the points come from.
Exactly. So, and it made sense to click on a railing and lose points. And it's a pretty dramatic thing, but you can also, we started realizing you can also use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Because the distance is also how fast cars are going.
You just keep clicking on that.
And the cars are slow, and you don't have to deal with sports cars and things like that. But if you die, you just get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the thing. The railings are there for your buffer. Um, so if you are trying to get like 100,000 points by building up a whole bunch of points by just riding the railing, because your score will continue to go up and you can chain cars, and then you try like, okay, now I'm going to try and build up my distance meter. If you die before you build it up, those points aren't going to do much.
It's just gone.
It's a balance between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
The distance meter is important, but getting points is important. Like chaining, when you chain the like cars together, like when you get 15 colors or whatever, and every time you click, it's 150 points. It takes, I think, like 3 or 4 seconds to get 150, or even close to that. Motorcyclists are worth that much, and if you don't kill a motorcyclist fast enough, they're on screen throwing bricks at you.
They'll get you. They're difficult little buggers.
I loved at one point there were 4 motorcyclists on screen.
Oh gosh, yes.
And all 4 of them were throwing.
Oh.
And I threaded the needle, and I somehow like made my way through all of the bricks on screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
And launched them all. I was just like, yeah, and then I hit the back of the screen.
Because there's nothing
there.
Yeah.
Oh. You know, I don't care. I would have loved to make an achievement for thread the needle, but I don't know how to detect that.
It'll be something for the future.
Maybe. We probably won't make the game anytime soon, but it is a game that we want to make.
It's on our mind.
It's bouncing around. Whether or not it gets made, we'll see in the future.
I really hope it gets made, but yeah, I mean,
we'd like to do it, especially now that the engine is made.
Yeah, don't have to worry about recreating that.
Yeah, and it might actually. I'd love to make it a game to be put on Newgrounds or Flash, but it's also like this game was big.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the graphics were big. We'd have to redo all of the graphics if we wanted to make it as big as we wanted because of size limitations.
Yeah.
We made this for iPad resolution, but what we should, and like we were making all the graphics really high resolution and scaling them down. We'll probably make lower resolution graphics and scale them up in the future.
Okay.
Just change like the screen's resolution. Not pixel graphics blown up big, but simpler.
Yeah.
So we can have more in the game, and we just have to adjust our art style for that. And now that we know like what kind of art we're doing with highlights and things like that, and more Muppets. Muppets are trademarked, but so our puppets.
Our mop puppets.
We can say Muppets. We're not actually Muppets. We're just puppets.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was an awesome experience to make, great. And I hope all of you enjoy it.
Yeah, it's out there now. As of right now, yes, it's out there. You can play it. Actually, you may have played it.
Maybe that's how you got here.
Yeah, exactly. Funny how that works.
We'd like to do more of these design talks for the games we make.
Oh, definitely.
Just little things, like little insights. Not give away all of our secrets, but some of the trials and tribulations.
It's the process that went into making it, some of the thoughts.
I'm not going to give you my source code.
Yeah, oh no. Yeah, you don't get that. You're not special enough.
You're not us.
Yeah, you don't know me.
It's only between us. Yeah, Colin. Tell me about what you think about my source code.
It was very Cody.
Uh-huh.
Cody.
It had some numbers in it.
Yeah. There's some sort of source with it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I threw some Counter-Strike in there.
The Counter-Strike source, yes. That was a huge inspiration for the art style. Obviously.
Oh man. Yeah, we'd like to do a lot more, especially because we just love the character.
Mm-hmm.
The hobo.
He's a goofy, fun character.
Yeah, especially with the thumbs up and everything. He's just like, yeah.
I want to make him.
Yeah. Oh God, I would love to have an actual puppet of him. Oh yeah. I might actually know someone who could do that.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, he makes some puppets, and I would love to have like a puppet of that. And then if we went to a convention and showed this off, and just like. Our booth doesn't even have us in it. We're just, actually underneath with like the puppet.
Like the puppet versions of us.
Too. Oh yeah, we made puppet versions of ourselves too.
It's on the loading screen.
The game. Just especially on Facebook, we were like, "Hey, look, now we're puppets. What's that all about?"
Whoa!
Puppet of the New World Order.
Wink, wink. Yeah, that's right. Puppet of the New World Order.
I'm a felt magnet.
I thought you said lint magnet.
It's whatever.
Oh, I mean, you're felt, so.
Yeah, am I?
Touch.
Touch.
You are now.
Oh, God, you know that all classic pun. Is this felt? No, it's if someone said that, hey, is that felt? No, it's actually polyester.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh, okay.
Yes, yes, I am.
Spin out of control.
Yeah. But yeah, that's our design talk.
Yeah. Just about it, right?
Tune in soon for the next episode of the Game of the Month podcast.
Yeah, if you're into that sort of thing.
Yeah, we'd love to have you. We love talking about game design and especially playing free games online.
Yes.
Like our game.
Yeah.
Segway, also a game.
Segway is also a game, apparently.
Probably.
That's our next game. Segway coming out soon. Not really. Maybe. Keep your eyes peeled.
8 out of 10.
8 out of 10. It was okay. Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything to add about art? Because you spent a lot of time on animation.
I'll just give you one piece of advice. Just anyone who's
no,
not one piece.
His name is Colin. That's Wolf D. Colin.
Oh gosh. But yeah, just a piece of advice. Organize your stuff, especially if you're making animated sprites like the cars we have. Because I didn't the wheels. I reused the wheels for just about every car.
Did you use them on the semi truck?
Yes.
We used them. Okay.
Yeah, I scaled them.
Okay.
But those were just the worst to copy and paste and move around because I didn't organize it. Again, it's a learning process.
Yeah.
It's learned a lot from this.
I didn't notice this until recently, but I loved it. In the junker, when it breaks down, does it get lower?
Yes, it does.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
very slight, but I love that.
Yeah. So it's just sort of like, I kind of figured, cartoon cars,
Yeah,
usually when they break down, it's just like a raise up and then crash.
It's pretty cool. I just noticed that, I think today, actually, I was playing the game, trying to get the achievements. I'm an achievement hunter.
Yeah. So yeah, get all the achievements, everyone.
Yeah. Especially that 100,000.
Yeah. Try to beat Bobby.
I think my high score was 107,000, but that wasn't on the Newgrounds page thing.
Mine was 52,000.
Yeah, it's difficult. See, we didn't make an easy game. This game isn't for wimps.
This is for
MLG. This is for hardcore MLG hobos out there.
Yeah. Just try to get a 360 no scope.
The hobo just pulls a gun out of the thing. It's just shoots a giant plunger.
He spins his arm entirely around.
Oh yeah, that was a.
We took arm.
Yeah. Well. Oh yeah, that was what we were gonna have the arm rotate, but because of the whole drawing process, this was an absolute limitation. This wasn't just me crap at programming. Unless there is a solution, and if there is, please tell me, because I love to learn more, and I'm not no pride, no shame. We wanted to have the arm rotate with where you were aiming.
It's gonna follow, the mouse cursor.
When we started doing the drawing for everything, whenever you draw a sprite, if you rotate it, it rotates it within the confines of its graphic. So sprites are actually, it's a rectangle or a square with some clear stuff in the background. And when I would try to rotate the arm, it would try to rotate out of that square. It wasn't rotating the entire square. It was only rotating the image within the square, like a clipping mask. So it would disappear when it went, 180 degrees. I was like, why does that keep happening? And I figured it out, and that made the death animation really hard too, because the hobo spins out and everything.
Yeah. It was also weird, because we wanted, it had to be the back arm.
Yeah.
It had to be the back arm, because if it was the front arm, it would block the hobo, the face and all the
stuff like
other
that.
stuff. So, if you were to aim downwards, that would have looked, very weird, because he'd just be sticking his, arm straight down at the ground, and then the line would appear through him. So, that was
weird details. So, and, keeping his arm locked wasn't terrible.
Oh, it doesn't look bad at all.
Yeah. And I can't wait if we make another game to make him look even better.
Oh, yeah. high def,
HD
3D. We're gonna make them 3D.
3D graphics.
Oh yeah,
It's actually a racing game.
yeah.
Hobo Racers.
Super Hobo Racers.
He's DLC for Mario Kart.
Oh yes. Now Mario's gonna be DLC for our game.
Ah.
Yeah.
Why don't we just make a parody of him?
Oh yeah, just
Mario.
just
Oh crap! It's spelled the same.
The plumber. Because we have the hobo, we just have different
Like
occupations.
those generic Halloween costumes.
Yeah.
I want
Super
Sassy
Hobo.
Rick Grimes.
What's that?
Sassy Rick Grimes.
Is that a?
Like they have like Rick Grimes costumes or like things like that, but then there's like sassy zombie sheriff.
Oh my gosh!
And it's just like the female version. It's just like
because it's sassy. Oh, I see.
Oh yes, totally.
Yes.
Sass is the word you were going for.
Yes.
So Sassy Mario.
Sassy Mario.
Sassy Plumber.
Sassy Plumber. Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Plunger would fit.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it would work because Plunger.
Well, now that we maybe we can do costumes in the future.
Heck yeah.
I'd love to do the pirate, and he just shoots an anchor instead.
Oh, that'd be fun.
All right. So that's been our design talk and everything like that.
Dragged on a little longer. But,
yeah.
Well, you thought it was over. It wasn't. It's over now though. So. Well, just about.
Tune in soon. I hope you play the game. It's in the description. Or you already played the game and you clicked on the link and then ended up here. Whatever. I hope you enjoy the game first and foremost. We had a lot of fun working on it.
Mm-hmm.
Still stressful, but we absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and we're up for criticism. I mean, this is our first game out of, well, at least it's my first game working on.
Yeah, it's our first big game. We've done exercises. We've made Pac-Man. We've made, Space Invaders and stuff like that. But this is our first game.
Yeah.
This is us, and we hope to do more out there, and we really hope you enjoy this. So if you enjoy it, like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, just tell us what you think, improvements we can make, anything like that. So
we want to hear from you, the people.
The people. We're here for you.
The players. Because remember, play is louder than words.
All right.
Jeez. All right. Well, see you next time.
All right. Bye.
Later.
Thanks for stopping by.